This video was made in collaboration with Dragon Prince Wiki. For more information, check out the link in the description. The history of the Elves. Elves are a race of humanoid magical beings that inhabit the lands of Xadia. They are divided into 6 races based on their connection to one of the primal sources of magic that exist in nature. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the history of the Elves. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Early history. The first elves originated at least 5,000 years before the modern era. In ancient times, elves and humans lived alongside one another. However, the relationship between elves and humans started to deteriorate when humans were introduced to the ways of magic by the unicorns. The elves warned the selfless creatures not to trust humans so easily, as they believed that they would have been born with magic if nature intended them to use it. Some weren't as kind as expected, as some human dark mages began poaching the unicorns and other magical creatures and harvested their bodies for dark magic spells. Eventually, their excessive poaching led to the extinction of the unicorns. Horrified by this, the elves and dragons at first wanted all the humans to be annihilated, but knowing that not all humans are bad, one elf convinced Luna Tenebris, the queen of the dragons, to exile all of humanity to the western half of the continent and divided it with a river of lava. The elves remained on the eastern lands of Xadia and maintained a state of cold war with the humans, especially with Katalis, the human kingdom that borders Xadia. Humans eventually discovered the Breach, a narrow cliff that connects Katalis to Xadia across the lava river, and began using it to make clandestine trips into Xadia against the wishes of the elves. 700 years after their exile, a Startouch Elf named Aravos was imprisoned in a mirror by the Dragon King Avazandum for yet unknown crimes. And by that I mean, it's now the end of Season 3 and we still don't know what he did. Yet another 300 years later, humans from Katalis infiltrated Xadia and used dark magic to slay the Dragon King, and supposedly destroyed his son's egg, which was in reality stolen by Viren. After the king's death, the Dragon Guard, a group of elves dedicated to protecting the newborn egg, was ghosted by the rest of the elves for abandoning their duty, meaning they were banned from returning to their homes and no longer acknowledged by their kin. It's like that one episode of Black Mirror where, even if you commit a crime, you can't see anyone's faces. Included in this punishment were Rayla's parents, Teodrin and Lane, who had served in the guard at the day of Avazandum's death. As revenge for the actions of humanity, Dragon Queen Zubeia decided to avenge their deaths by sending Moonshadow Elf assassins to kill King Harrow and his birth son, Prince Ezrin. Having discovered the Breach, Sunfire Elves also amassed their soldiers and conquered a fortress Katalis had secretly established on the Breach's eastern end in Xadia, a potential prelude to an invasion of the human kingdoms. Book 1, Moon. As the hired Moonshadow assassins edged closer to Katalis, they were spotted by a human guard and left it to Rayla to eliminate him, which she failed due to not being able to take the life of an innocent being. This mistake led to an open window for the soldier to inform the High Council of the attack, and now at a disadvantage, only 2 of the original 5 elves made it out alive, yet succeeded in their mission to kill King Harrow. Meanwhile, Rayla, who had made it into the castle, discovered the egg of the Dragon Prince together with the 2 princes of Katalis and swore to return it to its mother, together with her new human companions. Runan, however, the leader of the assassins, was taken prisoner by Viren for interrogation. Both of them failed to remove the bindings that had bound them to their mission, as they had failed to kill Prince Ezrin. After many obstacles, Rayla befriended the princes and climbed to the top of the cursed caldera, where the group met Lujane, the guardian of the Moon Nexus. Through collaborative efforts and Kalim's successful cast of a thunderstorm, which allowed the egg to hatch, they managed to hatch the Dragon Prince, whose name is Ozymandias, or Zim. The Dragonling was able to eventually free Rayla from her binding. Runan, however, was not as lucky, as Viren trapped him inside a magical coin via dark magic, due to his refusal to give away any information about Xadia or the magic mirror inside Viren's dungeon, only stating that he had met a fate worse than death for obtaining the cursed artifact. Book 2, Sky. Even though despite feeling joy over Zim hatching and her hand being freed, Rayla knew danger was coming, and she was right when Soren and Claudia caught up to them. She knew that they were hiding something, while at the same time struggling with telling the princes the truth, and when Rayla finally worked up the courage to tell Calum, but upon seeing his state, she realized it was too late, though they managed to reconcile. With the help of Ellis and Ava, she was able to prove their intention and escaped with the princes and Zim. Meanwhile, the boys' aunt Amaya and her forces had to deal with a group of Sunfire Elves at the border. After some time, Aravos was happy to establish contact with another living being. Continuing over the ocean thanks to Captain Velas, Rayla was confused about what to do in life, since she didn't have the heart of an assassin. From the captain, she was given some sage advice, and when she saw a captured sun dragon, Rayla finally discovered what she wanted to do with her life. However, she became irked at Calum for using dark magic, despite trying to help her, and continued to watch over him in his dream-fevered state, while saddened that Ezran found out about their father. Upon seeing her friend's condition worsen, Rayla broke down at the thought of losing him, but her concern turned into amazement when she watched Calum perform magic through his connection of the Sky Arcanum. With a failed summit, Arvos convinced the mage to use fear to get his point across, and when Viren was captured, the Startouch Elf would stay with him through his familiar. After Ezran's return, Rayla respected his decision to return home to try and stop the war from the other end, while she and Calum continued on to Xadia. Just as they crossed the border, the trio encountered Sol Regum. Book 3, Sun. The year-long battle at the breach found an end when General Amaya decided to destroy the only connection between Xadia and the human kingdoms known to humanity. Janai managed to capture Amaya and brought her to face judgment before the Sunfire Queen, Kessa, convincing her to show mercy after exposing Amaya to the light. Through his familiar, Aravos could be seen only by Viren, and during the journey to Xadia, grew in size as well as learned about Avazandum's demise. Inside the home of the Moonshadow Elves, the Silver Grove, Rayla learned that she had been ghosted by her kin, meaning they would no longer acknowledge her existence, similar to what they had done with her parents since she had failed her mission. This is where they met Athari, Runan's husband, who delivered a letter to the Dragon Queen informing her that her son is still alive. After Given a Moonstrider and Shadowpaw, Team Zim continued their way through the Midnight Desert. Meanwhile, Aravos moved to Lux Aria with Viren, manipulating him into faking his surrender to the Sunfire Elves. Although the Sunfire Queen at first declined an audience, Janai informed her that Viren claimed to know what had happened to their grandmother, Aditi. Like Amaya, Viren was exposed to the Sunforge as well, but before he could be destroyed by its magic, Aravos overtook the Sunfire Priest and claimed the Sunfire Staff, taking over the Sunforge. After whispering to Kessa what he had done to her grandmother, Aravos used the spell on the Sunfire Queen, causing her body to dissolve, effectively killing her. At the same time, Team Zim had reached the Stormspire, where they returned Ozymandias to the Dragon Queen Zubeia. However, Zubeia had fallen ill and found herself in a deep slumber. Thus, she was unable to acknowledge her son's return. The group was made aware of Aravos and Viren's approach by Soren, who then joined the allied forces. While Ibis, a Skywing Elf mage and protector of the Queen, scouted for the enemy, Calum managed to reveal the truth about the events surrounding Rayla's parents using a moon opal. The magic spell had revealed that Tiandrin and Lane had stayed behind and tried to protect the Dragon Prince's egg, but faced an unknown fate inflicted on them by Viren. Relieved and inspired by her parents' loyalty, Rayla followed their footsteps, becoming the last Dragon Guard. After being joined by Janai and Amaya, as well as the Sunfire Elf army, Team Zim gathered their allies to fight a final battle against their enemies. After a heated war, get it? Heated because they're Sunforge powered. After a heated war with Viren's now Sunforge enchanted soldiers, the allies were joined by the Kingdom of Durin, as well as several dragons, allowing them to win the battle. Rayla successfully managed to stop Viren from harvesting Ozymandias' essence after the mage had infiltrated the spire, killing him in the process by throwing him off a cliff. Victorious, the allied forces gathered inside the Storm Spire, where Queen Zubeia finally awakened. Overjoyed about seeing humans and elves reunited, her son had returned and a new era of peace began. However, there was still danger ahead, as unknown to the allied forces, Claudia had successfully resurrected Viren, and Aravos entered a stage of metamorphosis. After the battle, elves and humans entered an era of peace between their nations, in which little changes contributed to welcoming a new time of coexisting. However, not all of them seem ready to just forget the conflicts of the past just yet. Races: Moonshadow Elves. Moonshadow Elves are connected to the magical energy of the moon. Their natural abilities in stealth and speed make them adept assassins and infiltrators. Moonshadow Elves live in the Silver Grove, which is hidden underneath a veil of magic and can only be entered through the use of a ritual. Moonshadow Elves are at their strongest at night. On the night of a full moon, Moonshadow Elves are at the height of their power, and can become nearly invisible upon entering a Moonshadow form. Very strong Moonshadow Elves may use this ability with less than full moon. Moonshadow Elves are typically pale to dark-skinned with purple markings stretching across parts of their body. They have white or silver hair, pale eyes that vary in color, and wear teal and black-colored clothing and armor. All appear to feature horns of blue to purple hue with swirl-like symbols of a lighter hue. Along with Sunfire Elves, Moonshadow Elves are the most similar to humans in terms of overall appearance, allowing them to pass for humans even without the use of magic. Moonshadow Elves typically garb themselves in various shades of green with accents of silver, brown, and black. They also use moon opals as adornments that are as decorative as they are functional, acting as sources of auxiliary power when shattered. Garments worn by Moonshadow Elves are often layered but very streamlined, often conforming to the need for mobility over presentation. Races: Startouch Elves. Startouch Elves are connected to the magical energy of the stars. The only Startouch Elf with a voice actor shown thus far in the show is Arvos. He wears an elegant dark blue tunic with golden ornaments, decorated with the symbol of the Star Arcanum. His physical features include dark blue tinted skin with hair of a light blue hue, while his horns are more elaborate than the horns of other elves. He also has yellow eyes, and they occasionally glow white when he uses magic. It's not yet known if these characteristics are common aspects of the race. Startouch Elves are rare, and few others have ever come across them. They can live for over 5,000 years, and they experience a timescale that is more like the stars than other elves, which gives them a detached, big-picture perspective of the world. All known imageries of the Startouch Elves depict them with horns that are much grander and more elaborate than those of the other races. Also, their skin ranges in color from midnight tones of indigo and blue present in Arvos' appearance to a soft pearl gold to even tones of silver. Additionally, their hair has been shown to come in extremes as varied as starlight white to stark black. Clothing worn by Startouch Elves has been shown to include open chest tunics as well as overlapping layered robes. All known designs incorporate a dark color scheme, with accents reminiscent of constellations, planetary orbits, and other celestial phenomena. Races: Sunfire Elves. Sunfire Elves are connected to the magical energy of, you guessed it, the sun. Their only known place of residence is Luxauria, a grand city that is considered to be a crowning achievement for their race. They also possess a powerful military that regularly clashed with human forces at the border. They're famous for their ability to craft sun-forged equipment, which includes sun-forged blades and legendary armor. Sunfire Elf soldiers are shown to wear red and gold clothes and armor. They commonly appear with dark skin and hair that comes in varied but warm colors ranging from cold black to golden blonde. Many but not all Sunfire Elves wear dreadlocks. Some Sunfire Elves can enter a heat being mode, in which their skin heats, their body glows, their speed and strength are increased, and they become immune to fire. However, this ability is not accessible to all Sunfire Elves. An even smaller number of them can enter a light state, capable of casting healing magic. Races: Skywing Elves. Skywing Elves are connected to the Sky Primal. Their skin tones include a tan brown as well as blue or gray, while their hair varies in both color and length, with colors coming in stormy tones of gray and brighter shades of electric blue. Compared to other races, their horn shapes come in several different varieties, such as small and stubby, long and thin, or backward bending horns. Although not always the case, their ears can appear split into a larger and smaller section. Some Skywing Elves enjoy the advantage of being born with wings located on their lower back, or akin to birds or angels. According to Ibis, fewer than 1 in 10 Skywing Elves have wings, although some can cast a spell to turn their arms into wings. Clothing for Skywing Elves is typically very streamlined and comes in colors reminiscent of the power of a storm, including blues, grays, purples, blacks, silver, and cyan. Their clothing is often very light and is customized according to the needs of the owner. Skywing Elves born with wings appear to keep the middle of their back bare as to accommodate their wings. Some Skywing Elf mages, such as Ibis, eschew sleeves to more easily generate mage wings without wasting materials that would be torn apart upon casting the spell. Races: Earthblood Elves. Earthblood Elves are connected to the magical energy of the earth. They feature skin or armor resembling tree bark and moss, as well as branch-like horns which can grow leaves and are reminiscent of antlers. While female Earthblood Elves are generally slim, males appear in a broader, more muscular figure. Unlike females, the horns of males are small and only have a few branches. Male Earthblood Elves appear to wear very little clothing compared to the males of the other races. Due to the symbiotic growths on their bodies, the clothes themselves seem to accommodate these features, bearing more skin on their arms and legs. Races: Tidebound Elves. Tidebound Elves are connected to the magical energy of the ocean. Their skin color includes a light blue, which shades off into white or darker blue colors on fin-like features. The fins are presented on their heads, shoulders, and limbs and also replace their ears. On males, these fins are colored in red shades, and are significantly longer than the fins of the females. The garments of Tidebound Elves appear to be skin-tight with very little tailing off. As they are creatures attuned to the power of the ocean, this is extremely useful, as the excess material would only slow them down underwater. Additionally, they do not appear to partake in the use of conventional footwear. So, did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Thank you for watching. This is Adrian. Peace.